Iraq War was sold to the world on one premise: weapons of mass destruction. They invaded, they searched, they found nothing. And that has always been the official loose end, the lie that started everything. But there is a second loose end, and almost nobody talks about it. Before we get there, you need to know about a king. 5,000 years ago, in the ancient Sumerian city of Uruk in what is now southern Iraq, there was a king named Gilgamesh. The Sumerians described him as 2/3 divine and 1/3 human. A man of extraordinary power who walked with gods, sought the secret of immortality, and possessed knowledge that was never meant to reach ordinary people. The Epic of Gilgamesh is the oldest written story in human history. It predates the Bible. It contains a flood narrative that predates Noah, and it was not written as mythology. It was written as history by a civilization that treated everything in it as completely real. Gilgamesh was real. Archaeologists confirm a king of Uruk by that name existed around 2700 BCE. And when he died, the ancient texts describe a burial unlike anything ever built before or since. The Euphrates River was temporarily diverted. The tomb was constructed in the exposed riverbed. Then the water was released, sealing it forever beneath the river, hidden deliberately, as if whoever buried him did not want what was inside to ever be found. For thousands of years, nobody knew where it was. Then in late 2002, just months before the Iraq invasion, a team of German archaeologists working near Uruk made an announcement that stunned the international community. Using ground-penetrating radar, they had found something enormous buried beneath the ancient city. A vast complex of chambers and tunnels, matching the ancient descriptions of Gilgamesh's tomb with a precision nobody had anticipated. The announcement made headlines globally. 3 months later, the bombs started falling. Now here is where you need to pay attention, because what happened next is not speculation, it is documented fact. Coalition forces established one of their largest forward operating bases directly adjacent to the ancient city of Uruk. Not near Baghdad, not near the oil fields. Next to a 5,000-year-old archaeological site that had just been identified as potentially containing the tomb of a semi-divine Sumerian king. While Baghdad burned and the world's attention was fixed on the north, coalition forces were quietly sitting on top of one of the most significant potential discoveries in human history. Access to the Uruk region was restricted. Journalists couldn't get in. Independent archaeologists couldn't get in. The German team that made the original discovery was kept out entirely during the critical early months of the occupation. And when they were eventually allowed back, they found their site had been disturbed. Equipment moved, ground broken in areas that had not been part of their survey. Something had happened at that site while nobody was watching. And nobody has been willing to explain why. So what were they looking for? The conservative version is this. Someone in the coalition knew about the discovery and moved to control it before the international community could get involved. A find of that magnitude would rewrite history in ways no government would want to manage publicly. The deeper version is harder to dismiss in 2026 than it would have been 10 years ago. Ancient Sumerian texts describe the tomb as containing more than a body. Objects, artifacts, things connected to the knowledge Gilgamesh brought back from his quest. Knowledge the gods gave him and then tried to take back. Researchers in the UAP disclosure space have been making a specific argument since the 2023 congressional hearings. If non-human intelligence has been present since the earliest human civilizations, then physical artifacts of that contact are the most dangerous evidence in existence. Ancient enough to be undeniable. Specific enough that finding one would end the official story permanently. The counter-argument exists, and it is fair. Wars destroy things indiscriminately. Military positioning follows logistics, not archaeology. The German team's disturbed site could reflect the chaos of a war zone rather than deliberate interference. These are reasonable points. They do not make the questions disappear. Here is what is simply true. A war was started on a lie. The oldest city on Earth, sitting on what may be the most significant undiscovered tomb in human history, was occupied by coalition forces immediately after a German team publicly announced they had found it. Access was locked down, the site was disturbed, and then nothing. No official excavation, no official statement, no answer. The tomb of Gilgamesh may be down there right now, sealed under the Iraqi desert. Whether it was found, looted, resealed, or simply buried again under the weight of everything else that happened, no official source has ever said a word.